No team has had a more heartbreaking past 2 years than Space Station Gaming.
If we're talking about the iteration between basically when Daniel joined till now, I think you got a really good. Almost every split, I think, since that original one, there is one backbreaking moment. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree that Space Station Gaming fans have it worse than everybody else. They are truly the New York Knicks of the RLCS.
I've been watching Rocket League esports since 2019. I became a Space Station fan pretty much immediately, as I love space, was an aerospace engineer in college, and anything with the name Space Station Gaming on it sounded super cool to me. So when I originally chose Cloud9 and then watched Space Station upset them in the first ever RLCS match I watched, it was time to switch allegiances, and from then on, it's history. Being a Space Station fan for 5 years, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. As it's been alluded to, Space Station has had some of the most heartbreaking moments in the RLCS, and so I am here to count down the top 10 most heartbreaking moments as a Space Station Gaming fan. Yes, there are 10. Oh gosh, it's an awkward bounce. He missed it. I forgot about that.
And LJ not able to get out in transition. Instead, it's a volley shot. It gets through the defense, and Gen G strikes first.
Almost a shooting. Arsenal's playing it. Not only getting that play is good. And then that's a demo. I think they score off this too. That's a shot. That's another goal.
Apparently Jack at this point. Advance on to Saturday. Gen G Mobile One Racing puts a bow on it on the goal line.
So number 10, I have a little bit of a weird one. It's not an exact moment in this game 5. There's a lot of these that are going to be moments in the future. But this one was just the general premise of the Boston Major. Now, we had, in my opinion, my favorite split as a Space Station Gaming fan, where we had proved everyone wrong. This is a story I've gone over a million times. Where it's like we lose our star player in Daniel, pick up Hawkster, and all of a sudden we're just clicking on all cylinders, just a much better team. It was really fun to watch. And because of that, despite not winning a regional, the state of North America was really weird, and we ended up getting the 1 seed. However, this was the most ridiculous bracket a 1 seed from North America or Europe has ever had to run. We're talking Carmine Corps, winners of the Winter Major, and Gen G, winners of the Fall Major. We quite literally had to go through 2 major winners to make top 8. And that was just not really in the cards. If we had gotten where Furia was, if we'd gotten the NA2 seed or the NA3 seed where Optic was, there's a good chance we make top 8 or maybe even top 6. So as for Boston, it just wasn't in the cards that time, and that's why it's number 10 on the list.
That was a very floaty ball there in the middle of the field. AXB pops it up.
Off the ceiling in front of the box, AXB gets there in time.
Oh, that's a breakaway! Sipical, you have to hit that!
No good, huge missed opportunity.
And it's 16 shots
This is it.
now, and First Killer in a dangerous position with full boost. He's gonna push it down.
Dude.
Second touch from First Killer, it sends Rogue on. The young gun brought out the bazooka. Off the ceiling, bouncer off the ground, get wrecked.
Number 9, I have an old one from the past with Rogue versus Space Station in the Spring Series. Now, not a lot of people remember this tournament. It was kind of after RLCS 9 was over. It was not sure when we were going to see Season 10. COVID was happening. There were no lands. But this was a unique opportunity because the finals of this tournament was going to be broadcast on ESPN2. And I was personally very excited to see the potential for Space Station to make it on ESPN2. We had gotten second in the Season 9 playoffs. We'd gotten first in the regular split. We were a good team. We should not have been going out top 4 at this point. We were definitely expected to be one of the top 3 teams. But this was First Killer's real breakout tournament. And as you can see by that final shot, that was an iconic moment that lived with First Killer for a while. I would often, for years, I referred to this moment as still giving me nightmares. And honestly, I get why. The start of that overtime was much more intense than I remember. There were multiple chances back and forth. Civical had a wide open net that I had just completely forgotten about, considering this was 4 years ago now. If he buries that, we're telling a different story. Who knows? We might be able to take down NRG and make a more confident, showing in the final. But instead, I just had to watch G2 smack NRG on ESPN2 and Landon Donovan have Unfortunately, one of the worst broadcasts that we've seen Rocket League have. Not necessarily his fault, but that's number 9 for heartbreaking moments as a Space Station fan. That one lived rent-free in my head for far too long.
And what sends Space Station Gaming home?
You might boost. Arsenal is on target, but Drees is back.
We're good.
Where does the demo happen? That demo on LJ.
It's on the demo. It's in. Baby! Space Station grounded. Put him in the gurn. I can't speak English.
Put him in the gurn. Moving on to the quarterfinals.
In the dirt or something.
Number 8, I have Space Station versus Dignitas in the Winter Invitational of 2023. This was the worst time to be a Space Station Gaming fan. This is when Daniel knew he was going to go to version 1 after this split. We were having terrible results. We had lost to Dignitas in the Winter Open in the quarterfinals, had lost in the quarterfinals the next event, and then we basically needed a little bit of help in order to make the major in San Diego. But honestly, the best draw that we could have asked for was getting to take out Dignitas ourselves. That being said, we left it up to a Game 5 overtime. And if we know anything about Space Station in Game 5s, and you will continue to see this, maybe not Game 5s, but Champions Field, it's painful. It's a lot of pain. And this is definitely one of the events. I'm going to be honest, I never saw this event. It was my second week working my full-time job. I came home, I tried to avoid spoilers all day, made sure I stayed disconnected, got home, turned it on, and I knew that the Space Station Furia match was on the main stream for the first broadcast. And so I opened up the main channel on YouTube, and the first comment I see is seeing Dignitas beat Space Station, and basically they were saying it, and I got the results spoiled before I could cover up the comment section. And from there, I was just like, there's no point. I'm not going to subject myself to this, because the minute I saw that comment, I knew we were eliminated from major contention. And this was kind of, ironically, the end of the dark days for Space Station, because it would be the last match where the team just didn't mesh at all. And so, I mean, technically it does get better later, but definitely during this moment, this was an avoidable moment of heartbreak that really stings to have missed that major, considering exactly how free it was to get there. Number 7, I don't really have a video for this one because it kind of happened over multiple times, but it's the entirety of the first split of the 2024 season. I mean, the first time it's understandable. It's like, all right, we got unlucky. You know, we lost to G2 in the Swiss stage, Gen.G lost to M80, and now we're facing Gen.G in the Swiss. It happens. The second time when it happened that exact way, where we lost to G2, Gen.G lost to M80, and then we met them in the quarterfinals, it started to feel a little ridiculous. And at that point, we're all like, haha, imagine it happens again, right? Meanwhile, being scared out of our minds, it's going to happen again. And then it was a little bit different in the third event. Like Gen.G went 3-0 through the Swiss. Space Station had their loss to G2. But they also lost to OG this time. And then, yeah, Gen.G of the quarterfinals 3 times in a row. There were many debates that this sparked about, A, the format, B, was Space Station actually the third best team the entire time? I think the most painful part about this was having to listen to First Touch just not even consider that Space Station was the third best team. I respect the guys a lot. I love what they put on, but on this opinion, they were just dead wrong and they didn't want to see it. And I'm glad CJ came in to cook them, because I'm going to be honest, listening to that podcast where they were like, yeah, there's no doubt where North America is sending its best 4 teams, and not even considering the record that Space Station had against non-LAN teams was ridiculous. I mean, to put it in perspective, I could go over this for days, but I'll just leave this stat here. Pretty sure OG was 9-3 against teams not going to LAN. Luminosity was 10-5 against teams not going to LAN. Space Station was 7-0. They were undefeated against non-LAN teams. Come on, guys. Come on. Game 7. All right. This is watching my own reaction. Let's go. I'm wearing the same jacket. Oh, Exotic just caught that. We're fine. I think at this point of the series, I'm just terrified to see Exotic on the ball ever. He's so awkward. Oh, we all committed. Oh, but we still score off it. Okay. I can tell exactly how stressed I am in this moment. Daniel doesn't need to do the Devo. He just needs to set up his team every single time. Come on. Why am I saying that now? Oh, I had no idea what was coming. Exotic. Please, how? Pass! I'm screaming. Keep it up. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so stressed. Hard, it's beating so hard, dude. Good cover.
No!
Oh my gosh. I'm like actually in tears, dude. I'm so sad. All right, so number 6, I have the Space Station gaming experience of the 2022 World Championship. This has a decent amount baked into it, and there's a reason why I reacted to the Semper overtime, because I think this set in motion the chain of events that really led to the demise of this 2022 team at Worlds. There was a lot going on behind the scenes. I believe at this point, Daniel and Arsenal had already decided that they were kicking Retals after Worlds. LJ was basically a shoo-in for the roster at this point, and so they're just kind of playing this out and waiting until after the tournament to let everyone know and move on to the next season. But that being said, Retals was coming into this tournament fully thinking like, yeah, we're in this to win it. We actually have a chance. We were 2 Game 7s away from winning in London. We can actually make a run at this thing. And had we made it through wildcard 3-0, I think there's a much better argument for at least us to make top 8, as we would have seen Endpoint, I believe, in round 1, Moist in round 2, which, assuming we lose that, we would have dropped down to face NRG. And this was not a good NRG team at the time. So, the 2022 Worlds experience, what all went wrong? Well, this Game 7 overtime loss was definitely the first one. Now, we never should have been in a position to lose to Semper, but a large part of this is because Arsenal started to feel sick. I believe he was coughing up blood later this day. If you remember the Dignitas and the Pioneers series, I mean, he literally left in the middle of the Pioneers series to throw up backstage. So he was definitely feeling really sick. They wanted to call in their sub. He was talking about how he wanted Jasper to sub in with him, but Jasper wasn't at the World Championship just yet because they didn't think they would need him for wild card. So the first part of the, unfortunate set of circumstances that led to this. Later, after the Semper series, we would get wiped by Dignitas and then make it through the wild card by beating Pioneers pretty soundly, but we still ended up with the 8th seed. If we close this out against Semper, and if Arsenal's feeling like marginally more healthy, it's at least a top 8 run and doesn't end as tragically as I think it could. But seeing the run, this is the start of the end for the Daniel Arsenal Retals roster, or at least the start of the end of their final tournament. They knew it was going to be their final tournament. 2 of them did. But, yeah, that's why I got this one at number 6. It was just a multitude of things that led to the downfall of what a lot of people would consider the most iconic Space Station gaming roster of all time.
Defensively has been making tons of saves. And this one's going to need to...
Oh, gosh.
Big time defensive stop. And Hoxer will clear it down the gut. LJ making sure the defense is still awake.
Pass? Oh, great play. We took a lead. Okay, so Michael on Shiftcast was right about this. We genuinely had the lead. We were down 3-0 in this series. Sorry, Chief, I'm talking over you. We were down 3-0 in this series. We claw back for a reverse sweep, and we have a lead in Game 7. Oh! We saved that. We don't save this one.
Under 2 minutes left to play. LJ up to Arsenal.
Oh, good attempt. Hoxer? He gets the block.
Commits heavily, and now the sprint back off the backboard. LJ can't. Oh, he doesn't make contact.
I'm sorry, how?
But he did.
And this is where the bad news starts. Wait, not this. This.
It does, but it's a tip out. Yan versus LJ. Yan going for the bump. He gets it. And Fury has score with a single second on the clock.
Oh, and LJ knew he was going to be in a tight spot, and he missed all the pads going back.
I'm literally just looking at LJ's face cam, and it hurts actually so bad. Number 5, I have Space Station versus Furia in the upper bracket final of the Spring Invitational 2023. Space Station's last RLCS regional win was sometime, I can't remember the exact date, but it was in May of 2021. This was a roster that people did not believe in when it was formed. It was the leftovers from supposedly Daniel's backpack and a bubble player who had only made half of the regionals this season. And so when they came out in that split and got top 4, top 3, and then went into the upper bracket finals with a chance to face Furia for a spot in the finals, it was like, this is our best opportunity. Hoxter was known as the South American killer at this point. He was undefeated against Furia, including during his time on Ghost with a massive upset there. Furia hadn't won a best of 7 in North America until quite literally just the series prior. So there was a lot of hype for, Space Station being able to go through this upper final and actually, make it to a final with a bracket reset. They go down 3-0 in the series. They claw it back to a game 7. They have that lead in game 7, and then it gets equalized pretty quickly. And the most iconic moment, without a doubt, is LJ driving back 1-on-1 with less than 10 seconds left on the clock. And it gets pointed out afterwards by the broadcast. LJ misses every single boost pad, has himself on 0, gets air dribble bumped by Jan, and Furia go to the finals with the reset. Based on how online events worked at this point, if you went in through the upper bracket, you were probably going to win it. I think one of the only instances was Complexity in the first event of this season, but other than that, the upper bracket team normally just won the next series. For instance, Furia won the next series against us and won the entire event. If Space Station wins that series, there's a good chance that they go on to win the entire event because they have 2 series to defend themselves to do so against the team they're undefeated against in the season prior to this match itself. So yeah, obviously watching him miss every single boost pad hurts. Watching his reaction afterwards when he knows and can see exactly what happened really hurt as well. This was a team that inspired a lot of hope, a lot of confidence, and despite the fact that this was such a fun split to watch, this has to be one of the most heartbreaking moments on here because without that, and if it goes the other way, we probably are talking about, this LJ Hoxter and Arsenal roster is regional winners. And instead, Arsenal hasn't won a regional since 2021. LJ still hasn't won a regional yet. And Hoxter is, I hope he can, but it's looking like he's, unless he gets picked up by this LJ First Killer duo, probably not like the window for him to win a regional is closing. I really hope that both LJ and Hoxter can. Obviously, it'd be great to see Arsenal win another regional as well, but he's won some in the past, so I definitely want to cheer for the guys who haven't won it just yet. But because this moment just absolutely sucked the air out of all the momentum and just actually hurt so much, it does have to be on this list at number 5.
And this one is going to deliver another fine one. One more match, one more 5-minute game to decide who goes to Sweden.
And we can't get the squishy save immediately. This was the original Game 7. This was where it all started. I don't want to watch this. I really don't want to watch this, guys. This is a goal, isn't it? Sipical misses here.
He missed the ball! Raiseball breaks through the wall! 2-0! That is an uncharacteristic whiff from Sipical. Thinks he has the read. Ball goes right over him and Raiseball there. This one...
I don't want to watch this anymore. Bump. The redirect. Saved. Drop to Sip. Gets cut out. This is where Reynolds gets beat. And then Reynolds head down. Racebull's already celebrating.
Vamos to Sweden. Complexity advance. Vamos is absolutely right. They're able to pull off something no one thought they could do.
Number 4. I have the tiebreaker between Space Station and Complexity. Now, I'm going to be honest, watching this one back hit harder than what I thought number 4 would. This, I know I said earlier that some people think the Daniel Arsenal Reynolds combo is the most iconic Space Station gaming trio. No, Sipical Arsenal Reynolds is the most iconic Space Station gaming trio. Full stop. I'll stand by that until someone outperforms then. And I'm here to tell you that it was not Daniel Arsenal Reynolds. So, the fact that this trio never got to play on land together actually just hurts me to my core. This was... I feel like a lot of people don't actually understand that Space Station is more of the talent development org and not the let's go buy a championship winning roster and win it all. Because They got Sipical when he was coming into the RLCS for the first time, teamed him up with Arsenal, both before they actually had, breakout performances, before they were known as Sipical and Arsenal. And then because those two elevated so much, they were able to get Reddles, who already was a pretty well-known name due to his win with the Peeps in DreamHack Montreal, and had a super team for such a long time, and were competing at the top of North America because they had this trio that loved playing with each other. Reddles had an offer from G2 that he declined. Sipical also had offers on the table reportedly during that offseason between RLCS X and 2021-22 season. This trio, the fact that we never got to see them on LAN together hurt me so bad. And this tiebreaker is, without a doubt, the first, most heartbreaking moment. I know that the Spring Series technically came first, but this one hit like an absolute truck. Space Station was not supposed to be 6th in North America. They were not power ranked 6th at all. In nobody's mind were they 6th. They ran into the 2 tournament winners in the first 2 events, and then they ran into Envy the 3rd event. Envy would go on to lose in the finals, but they lost in that insane 21-game series against G2. But because of that, we were tied with Complexity. And so heading into this, I was pretty confident. It's like, okay, their storyline is cool and all, but we're still the better team. And we weren't the better team on the day. And Complexity went, and Complexity did North America proud. And I loved their story still. I cheered for them when they were in Sweden. But gosh, losing this series hurt so badly. So badly. And then after this, we would lose Sipical. Obviously, Daniel would come in and bring some good times with him, but the fact we didn't see this trio on LAN ever is genuinely a crime. And there's genuinely no room for debate on what the best roster we have never seen on LAN is, because it's going to be this trio of Sipical, Arsenal, Reddles every single time. And they were a game 7 away from doing it. But as you could see, the nerves got to them. And eventually Sipical would conquer that, as he, I feel like, performed pretty well at the final in San Diego. But this one stung so badly.
We have to do this. We have to do this.
Bummer. I wish he could have won that.
It's off. It's off. It's off. Oh my gosh!
Settle on. They're not pressuring us right now. They're not pressuring us right now.
How does LJ dodge the demo?
Yeah, I'm still genuinely confused by that. I might have to check the replay later.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I don't understand how this game is still happening.
Yeah, me neither, man. If Yan doesn't get that touch.
Wait, Kago.
I think I knew Lost was going to save it, and I was just wondering if we could get back in time at that point. And this is going to hurt
No way.
everyone's ears.
I can't breathe, man. Is that far enough? Is it in? Yes! Come on! Come on! We can do it! We can do it! We can do it! We can do it! SSG! SSG!
It sucks watching this, knowing all hope is about to die.
Keep playing it, making it soft. Whoa, that's floating towards net.
Is LJ up?
Devo! Yes! Come on! Come on! We're good. I can't sit. I can't sit.
I almost jinxed it.
That's off.
Oh, that's a bad miss.
Oh,
That's another bad miss.
Choked, by the way. All right.
I'm like meditating.
It's fine. We're still tied.
Bro actually thinks he's in comms with the way he's talking.
Oh, that's in, isn't it? All right.
This.
Regroup.
This is where all hope starts to
We
die.
did not come all this way.
Because we definitely concede one more. It's right there.
There's no way he went under.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's where hope dies. But
LJ's gonna be late to the. Oh, he actually got a 50. We might be able to shoot this. Yes! Come on! We're not out of it.
I'm so locked in, dude. I have no boosts, no possession, no way out. And I'm realizing it. And I'm depressed. Number 3. Might be a little bit of recency bias, but I'll defend it. Space Station versus Furia at Worlds 2024. A lot of the season was your two North American teams. You had Gen G and you had G2. And it was who's going to be the best out of these two. And as the season went on, it was very clear that G2 was the best team. But then towards the end of the season, Space Station went from, are they the best of the rest, to how much can they compete with G2 and Gen G? To the point where a lot of people were considering Space Station North America's second best team. And when all was said and done, considering the collapse Gen G had, I'm not sure they were wrong. That being said, this was really the opportunity for Space Station to prove that they were maybe not a LAN winner contender, but prove that they could, take the series and really compete, get a top 4 if they had a right bracket, etc. Heading into this tournament, we had not seen Space Station against teams that were around their quality. I think in London, their losses were to Falcons and G2, literally the two finalists of the tournament. Meanwhile, they beat Mobula, Power, and Furia. This Furia team, of course. But up until then, along with that Esports World Cup, their only wins were against OCE with Joyous and APAC, and then their loss was against the eventual winner of that tournament in BDS. So we weren't really sure where to rank Space Station heading into Worlds, whether they were were they actually very close to being able to take down the top teams? Like, you can make an argument for them being the 4th best team in the world, or were they around that, 8th place range? And I think Worlds kind of did decide that they were around that 8th place range, where a lot of people thought they probably were. It's just we didn't have the results to 100% confirm that. But watching Space Station claw back to a Game 7 against Furia for the second time and fail to finish the reverse sweep sucked. You can hear my voice when we score in Game 6 and how just I'm on the verge of tears. I am so I think it's important to note that we're probably losing LJ after this tournament. Now it's basically been confirmed that he's going to go to NRG, or at least he's definitely been released from Space Station at this point. But it did feel like the last dance for LJ on Space Station unless something completely wild happened. So knowing that heading into the series, watching them compete, watching them trying to make it top 6, make it to Championship Sunday, and if they had won this series, it would have been the best placement that Space Station Gaming has gotten at Worlds since Season 8. And that includes outplacing the LJ Hawkster and Arsenal roster, as well as the Daniel Arsenal Reynolds roster. So it would have been quite the accomplishment for this team to do that. And unfortunately, it again ends in a Game 7 heartbreak against Furia. And is it recency bias? Could you put the tiebreaker above this? Probably. But I have it at number 3.
There's that countdown. 5 minutes on the clock. Daniel got a piece of that ball, keeping things still tied up for now.
That's a goal. Oh, that's a goal, isn't it?
So now Rise takes over. 85 in the tank, 70.
We counterattack the heck out of this, don't we? Joyo just gets beat here, and then we have someone chasing down Vatira. They left Vatira alone a lot at the end of this game. We had so much momentum at the end of this game. We actually had so much momentum because we set this up perfectly. Great demo. We have the breakaway. And then it's just, we're broken. It falls. Number 2. The first of this freaking Rise Joyo Vatira roster. Listen, I know they're a crowd favorite. I know everyone loves them. But please, they get on my nerves. I want to see them reunite too. I get it. I get the nostalgia factor. It'd be so cool to see part of them reunite. And, it'd be a fun storyline. Yada, yada, yada. They terrorized us. And this was the first instance. I'm going to be honest. Heading into the series, I was like, cool. We got 3rd. How are we supposed to compete with this young mechanical core? All 3 players are just better than all 3 players on our pitch, with the exception of maybe you could throw Daniel in there as a little bit higher rated. I had a lot of respect for this queso roster, and I thought we were going to get wiped. And so the fact that we took game 1 was a surprise to me. When we took multiple games throughout the series, it was like, wait, this is competitive? And then we get to game 7. Starts to look like we're falling apart. Not great. Start to claw back. Get 1, which was crucial. And we have a lot of momentum in that last minute. Queso looked like they wanted to throw that. Rewatching that just now. They leave Vatira on an island. We're able to capitalize. The crucial demo, in order to help Arsenal and Reynolds turn back towards the net. And the rise on the respawn. Rise on the respawn. I mean, everyone knows it. It's one of the most iconic moments. Anytime I hear in any kind of commentary the word hunting, I get flashbacks. And it'll probably be that way for a solid 5 years, like the whole first killer bazooka shot was. That was... I mean, that was... I say that the tiebreaker was the start, and that was the start of the heartbreaking moments. This was a heart-wrencher. And honestly, I considered putting this at number 1. I considered heavily putting this at number 1 because this is when it felt real. You know, we score that and then we take it in overtime. We're in a grand final on land. Like, whether or not we beat G2, like, sure, we probably get wiped by G2. I'm not saying we could go out and win that land because G2 was winning it. But to even be at a land final would have been astronomical. So, yeah, at number 2, I have the he's hunting moment. And of course, that means you guys know what number 1 is.
To remove Moist from the pitch, make it easier for his teammates, and Rettles, he does not want to miss out on that fun.
Oh, do we score first in this game? No, we don't. I don't remember how this game goes. I know how it ends, but I don't remember how it starts. That's a goal, yeah. Less than a minute left and we're down by 1.
Spacestation to settle this down. Moist can be so fast on that attack. Spacestation know it. They're just trying to keep Moist honest on these touches, not giving them too much space.
How? How? I'm so confused. Oh, it's a fake? It's faking them out and we just kind of float her? I think we got a bump on the back line. I'm so confused how we waited this long. Rise fake. And then Joyo gets frozen. Arsenal goes for the bump. Doesn't land it, but I think he keeps Joyo up there at least. Oh, and they missed, and Daniel scores it, or he at least passes it. That's a bad miss by Joyo. And yeah, you guys know what's next.
Can they do it? Oh no! Oh my goodness! A complete gap on the kickoff, and Moist have tied it up.
Turning this series around.
It hurts. Okay. It actually hurts. It deserves to be 1. It deserves to be 1. It deserves to be 1. And I just 2 minutes knowing full well what happens next. I've already been hurt enough. I don't even care anymore. I don't think we get back on the blue half the rest of the game.
It was too good a connection there from Rise. Wanted just to get a little bit more of a weak touch, but the attack continues. Daniel leaves it for his teammate. Rise is almost in. Is anyone there from Moist again? No.
And this is Joyo's musty.
He knew that there was the potential for the 50. Here they come. Joyo musty. And the shot. Oh! Boys are the coldest team in the tournament. They ice up again.
It had to be Rise. It's always Rise. How does he do this time and time again? 9 seconds to stage random.
There's no way that you can take down.
I'm not even sad. I'm just angry at this point. Number 1. I mean, it had to be this. You know, I think with a lot of the other moments, there's like, oh, if we hadn't done this and then going on to score a goal. You know, like if LJ had managed to get a few boost pads, defend the air dribble bump, and then we win in game 7 overtime against Furia. And that, you know, number 5. If, you know, we had managed to score off the, ball that Rise ended up saving and then score again in overtime to win it, like, since we had the momentum. There's a lot of, like, if this hadn't happened and then an extra step happened, we had it all. I'm sorry. We had it all. And I think the reason why I considered not putting this at number 1 is because I remember watching this. I wasn't watching it live. I managed to catch the VOD. It was spoiler free, so I still had no idea what happened. But I remember watching it and then watching the kickoff happen and being like, yeah, go figure. Of course we would. At that point, I was already hurt enough that I was like, yeah, this doesn't surprise me. We had them on the ropes, but the series isn't over till it's over. And that's why you can't let up the gas. And so when we conceded that, it was like, yeah, that felt inevitable. The age-old adage of the ball isn't over, or the game isn't over till the ball touches the ground. Obviously, this wasn't a 0-second goal, but it was arguably worse. We just got to close out the kickoff. We play it cleanly, and we play a clean after game, and then we take down Moist. And truth be told, the reason why this is number 1 is because hindsight makes it look so much worse. I mean, this Moist team went on to win the whole tournament. Space Station was a Game 7. They had almost reverse swept Falcons earlier in the tournament, and Falcons were in the upper bracket final. Falcons would go on to lose the tournament because there seems to be a lot of heartbreak when it comes to Falcons finals. That could be another video. But we had it all, and we would have taken down the team that would eventually go on to win it. And so this is where all the arguments come in, where Space Station was a team that could contend for the title. It's series like this that if they actually had just a millimeter of ice, just the composure to not throw on the kickoff, we're looking at a different universe. And yeah, that's why this has to be number 1. Despite the fact that I was just like, yeah, of course we would freaking lose that. Of course we would lose the kickoff. That's the most Space Station thing for us to do. Of course we do that. It had to be number 1. It just had to be. I don't have honorable mentions because there were 10 moments on here. Like, I'm sorry, I did some digging to pull up 10. Not all of them were unique moments in time, and there were more like concepts as well. But yeah, whoever had that take on Shiftcast, I apologize for blanking on your name. I know Michael is the one who defended it and kind of went through history. But yeah, if we're looking at teams competing at the top, Space Station Gaming has, without a doubt, had the most heartbreaking moments in the past several years of Rocket League. And I'm still here somehow. I'm still alive. I'm still fighting. I'm on the verge of tears every time we're in a Game 6 against Furia, trying to reverse sweep. But yeah. I got no words, man. I'm hurt. I don't know why I subjected myself to this. Thanks for watching if you've gotten this far. I'm sure this is longer than I originally intended it to be. But if you like watching me in pain, you've made it all the way through this. And I appreciate that. So hopefully we turn things around. I mean, rumors are that we signed the Snowmen. It could be a young, exciting roster. I'm not putting too much, expectation on them because I know it's a rebuilding process. If we make majors next year, that's a win. That's a win, and I'll be happy, and I'll take it. And similar to how, the reason that spring 2023 was my favorite split watching Space Station Gaming is because the expectations were so low compared to how we performed. That's kind of what we're heading into. The expectations aren't necessarily there with the squad, but the potential to do something crazy is, and I'm excited to see what they can do. So hopefully this is the end. I swear if I have to make a second video of this detailing 5 more heartbreaking moments as an SSG fan, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. But yeah, thanks for watching.